Okay, hello everyone. So today I thought I would take you through my process of creating a design or creating a garment from a design that I already have. So today I'm going to be making this, which is Villanelle's coat from the season 3 finale of Killing Eve. I absolutely loved this coat when I saw it on the show. I just thought it had such soft, beautiful drape and looked like something super cozy and warm. And since it's the start of winter here, I thought, why not try to make it? I won't be making it in the bright yellow because I don't think I really wear bright yellow, but I have got a beautiful black wool that I will be making it in. So this is the wool that I got. I don't know if you can see on camera, I'll try to get a close-up shot, but it's got a really beautiful kind of short pile to it, which means it's going to have that slight sheen that hers seem to have. So you can kind of see like it highlights a bit stronger than if it was a matte fabric. I printed off a bunch of photos of it because it's kind of a good way for me to work out where the seam lines are, what kind of goes into making it. Yeah, so I'm really excited to get started with this. I'll take you through my process. The first thing I'm going to do is really dissect these images. I have already had a pretty good look while searching for the coat. The coat is a Loewe, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I apologise if that's not. Coat, and I've got some pictures of the actual coat as well as her wearing it. So first thing I'm going to do is trace out kind of the outline of the coat so that I can try to work out where all the seam lines are, because it does look like there's kind of 2 or 3 panels at the back, like there's 2 seams running down the back as well as side seams, some pockets in there. So try to work out kind of what's going on and how to convert that into my own pattern. It does look like it's going to be a pretty simple pattern because it's one big kind of kimono sleeve piece with just a band at the bottom. So yeah, I'm excited to get started on this and I'll take you through my process. Alright, so I've got the image here. This one I think is probably one of the best images I've got because I can actually see part of the side of it as well as the front. And all I'm going to do is get some tracing paper and trace it out. This is something I think I first did in fashion school when we were kind of learning about how clothes are put together and where seams and panel lines need to be. And it's a really good way to kind of work out, okay, there's a dart there, there's a seam there, like, and also why it might be there. Like, a lot of these seams and stuff are there because they're for shaping. I think in this coat, because it really is quite shapeless, a lot of them are just there decoratively. And that'll also tell me then I may be able to leave it out. I did get 3 meters of fabric, which I think should be enough. But if it's not, then maybe I can leave out a panel and it helps me still be able to get the look that I want. Yeah. I also love on this coat that they have kind of top stitched all the seams. And so it really creates this like beautiful sort of like padded look at the seams. I don't know, I think it's a really beautiful coat. I think when I looked it up, it was like $5,000, and I think that's probably a fair price for how beautifully it was made. So hopefully we can make something just as beautiful. Not that I would sell it for $5,000, but still. So I'm not worrying too much about like all the folds in the garment, like, because they're just ultimately how the fabric hangs. It's not part of the garment's make. You know, if they're a pleat or a gather, then I think it would be important because, you know, that's part of how the garment's put together. But these are more just the natural way it falls. So there we go. Hopefully you can see that all right on the camera angle I've got. So I can see that there's like a side seam. She's got like a pretty big pocket as well, like for her hand, which, you know, really would only be like this big going into it. It's like triple the size of her hand. We've got one shoulder seam, but then it's not on the cuff piece. So I think that's a pretty good sketch to go off. Alright, so I've done some tracings of everything. What's quite interesting is they've got these hidden buttons. I'm not sure if you can quite see that, but like they've got the buttons when it's open on that side, but you don't see the buttonholes. I was thinking of actually doing magnetic buttons. That way I could hide it entirely on the inside, and even when it's open you can't tell that there's buttons there. What I'm trying to work out is this seam here, which is the side seam. I don't know whether it's swinging forward just because of her leg, or if it's swinging forward because this panel doesn't actually sit right at the side of the body. It kind of sits a little bit forward maybe. That's what I'm trying to work out because I can't see it on this image. So I'm going to play around. I mean, I might just place it at the side. I don't think it's a very big difference. Even if it was at the side, it'll only be, you know, a tiny difference. But yeah, so this is kind of my first step. Now I'm going to start pattern making. I might not film a lot of that because it's going to be very hard to film because it takes up like this entire table. And it's just going to be a big mess, but we'll try it out. Okay, so I finished making all the pattern pieces. I just trace it out on tracing Villanelle, which is actually a sew-in interfacing, but it's super lightweight and easy to trace and pattern make on, and it's also cheaper than pattern paper. So traced out patterns on that. I'm going to make it up in a toile first, so I'm just using this cheap polyester fabric. It's a bit lighter than the coating fabric, but it should give me an idea of how this is going to hang and the shape. So I'm going to cut this out. I probably won't be showing that as well just because it's impossible to show, but I'm going to cut that out and then sew it up and fit it. Okay, so I made up the toile. So I just made it out of this really cheap $2 fabric. And I'm really happy with how it's sitting. I think it's sitting similar to how her coat sat, and I just kind of pinned the pocket on there to get an idea of the placement. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of sitting in the same spot to where hers was. The collar needs to come out a little bit more. It's sitting a bit too kind of horizontal. It needs to come down. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking, but it does need to come a little bit more down. So I'll just make that pattern change. That's a very simple change. And then this is what the back is looking like. So I'm very happy with it. I think this is sitting in the right spot. Again, looking at hers, it kind of sat just in from the shoulder. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think it's almost ready to just be cut out of the regular fabric. I'll just alter the collar pattern, and I don't think I need to toile it up again because I am happy with how it's sitting. So I will change that and then cut it out of the fabric. Okay, so this is how I kind of alter a pattern if it's something basic like this. I've just pinned a bit of calico, or really any scrap fabric will do, to the piece that I want to alter, and then I've just drawn out on this piece where I want it to sit. So I think that is going to hang more like her collar does, and so I'm going to take off a little bit here and then bring it out here. And what I've done also is I've just traced out this shape of this, so then it'll be easier for me to convert this onto the flat pattern. Okay, so I've cut everything out and I've fused all the pieces that need fusing, which were the facings and then also the pockets. So what I'm going to do is sew them all together. So I'm doing the facings first, just at the shoulders. I also cut out a bunch of little squares of poplin. These are the buttons that I'm going to be using. They're just magnetic buttons, and they're in these plastic covers, so they can't really be sewn on. They have to be put into a little casing. So I'm going to do that, and they'll be hidden inside of the facings. And then the collar piece, I'm also just going to sew around the entire edge, leaving the neck edge open, and this is fused on one side and not on the other. And then the pocket pieces, so I'm going to stitch up here, along here, and then down here. And again, one side's fused and one side isn't. And then I'm also going to do a mirror of these. This is important with this fabric because it's got a nap to it. So because it's got that pile, it'll look different if one's hanging one way and one's hanging the other way. So I've got to make sure the pile is all facing the same way. I cut out a bunch of long strips for the ties that she has around the collar. and these are going to be way too long. I've measured them on me and they reach the ground, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to turn them inside out because of how thick this fabric is. Even though it is like thin for a wool, it's still going to be tough to pull it through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off the edge on the machine and turn just this section out, and then the rest I'm probably going to hand stitch closed, which will take a little bit of time, but I'll probably just sit in front of the TV and do that. Then I have the sleeve piece, so this is kind of the cuff, and I actually cut out 4 of these, so 2 different pairs, because I'm going to use this on the inside as sort of a facing, rather than having the lining coming close to the edge. That way, because it is quite an oversized coat, if I want to, I can turn it up and it still show the nice black rather than showing lining. So I've done 4 of these, and I'm just going to sew up the edge. So it's literally just a rectangle piece, it's super simple. So just fold it in half, and I'm just going to sew down that edge. Alrighty, so then this is the back piece, so it's the back panel and then the side back panel. So I'm going to stitch down this edge all the way down to the end, and I'm also going to top stitch this and the sleeve piece, because that's how she's got it on the garment. It's very obviously got a line of stitching, and I'm going to press it towards the back and then stitch down there about maybe a centimetre away, even maybe 6 mil, somewhere in between there. I'll decide when I do it. But yeah, so I'm going to sew that up, and then once that's done, I'll sew the front along the shoulder and then under the arm as well. So yeah, I'm going to sew all those pieces together. I've also just got to take off the toile, which is sitting here, the pocket placement, and place that onto the front, so that I can do that, but I'll do that once the pockets are made up. Alright, I don't know how well you can see this piece here, but this is the front lining and then the back lining. The back lining I cut in one rather than cutting it with the panel line, because I just didn't feel like there was any point to having the panel line inside. So I'm going to stitch up the sleeve shoulder seam and then under the arm all the way down. Do that on both sides, and then that'll be the lining pretty much complete. So you attach the face into that after that. Okay, so I stitched the pockets, turned them out. I've just got to do some top stitching around the edge, and then I'm going to sew them on here. This is the right side of the front. So I'm going to sew a box like this, slash down the center and into the corners, and then turn it all so it faces the inside of the garment. So I'm going to do that for both sides of the front. I also turned the collar piece inside out, so I sewed around the edge, just turned it out. I've just got to press and top stitch this all the way around as well, and then I'll add that onto the garment once I do the side seam. I did all the sleeve pieces, so now what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure if you can see because it's so hard to tell on camera with black, but this edge, which is a circle, I'm going to attach to another sleeve edge so that it fully folds out and has right sides showing both the inside of the garment and the outside. I'm also going to top stitch down this edge, pointing it towards the back of the garment. Alright, I'm not sure if you can tell again because it's really hard to see the black, but this is the back all sewn up, and I have done a stitching line just down the side. You can kind of see it there. So I did it about 8 mil away from the edge, and just creates that definition which was on the original coat. I'm also just working out the length I want these to be. So they're quite long on the original coat. They kind of go the length of the whole coat. So okay, so these are the little ties at the front. So this is the front bit I just turned inside out, and I stitched this on the machine. The rest of it I'm going to have to stitch by hand because it's just too much bulk to turn it all inside out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but first I'm going to cut them down to size. You can see they're quite long, like they're draping over her shoulder, but I want them to be kind of as long as the coat is, so I'm going to do that. Okay, sorry if the quality is a little bit worse. I had to start filming on my phone because my camera died, but I'm also just attaching the facing to the lining, so just with right sides together, and then I'll go over and edge stitch the lining down so that it stays neatly within the garment. Yeah, so I'm going to go do that, do the pockets, do the sleeves, and the collar as well. Yeah. Okay, so I've done the pockets on the front, so they're all stitched down, and then all I'm going to do is add the front to the back piece and stitch it along the shoulder seam and then down the side as well. I also attached the facing to the lining, and I have top stitched that too. So then I'm going to, once the front and back are together, I'm going to put the collar between the facing and the main body and stitch around the neck, securing the collar in place, and then I will probably stitch down the front too, and yeah. Okay, so it is nearly done. I'm getting so excited because it's looking really nice. So all I've got to do is put the buttons in. So like I said, these are magnetic, so they're going to be hidden inside. So the garment's still actually open. So at the bottom here, I haven't closed any of this off. So I'm able to get in there and add the buttons. So I'm just putting placement. I've only got 3 of them, and I just kind of want it so it can be shut nicely, but I don't need it to be super secure. So just 3 buttons there, and then it will also have the ties at the top. And then I'm also just going to add the rest of the sleeve on, finish the hem, do the ties, and then it will be done. I'm really excited with how this has turned out. I'm very happy with it. Okay, so this is how the button's looking. It's pretty much invisible on the outside, but on the inside it's tucked into this little kind of pouch I made out of just a scrap bit of poplin. So that way it kind of has a neat finish on the inside, and it's not glued or anything where it could easily fall off. And on the outside, well, on the right side of the garment, you can barely even see it. I've got a helper. Okay, so the sleeves are on. The lining is pretty much fully bagged out. These buttons aren't really working as well as I'd hoped. I think the fabric's just too thick. Like, they're not magneting together. So I'm going to have to try to find some stronger magnets to put in there, which isn't, you know, the end of the world. That's quite an easy fix, really. But I'm really happy with how it's turned out otherwise. And yeah, I've just got to hand stitch the last little bit of the hem where I left it open to turn it right side round, give it a press as well, and yeah, I'm really happy with how this has turned out. Yeah, I'm gonna finish doing the ties. Obviously they're not properly complete, so I'll finish the ties and fix the magnets and finish the hem. And then I'll be done, and I'll probably either try to get some video footage or take some photos in it, and yeah. Okay, I can't remember where I left off because it has been a week or 2 since I last filmed, but the coat is all done. I ended up changing the buttons to be a stronger magnet, so the buttons are much better now. They actually like really hold on. In fact, they might be too strong. So I'm gonna see how I go. I have been wearing this for the past week or so, and I've found it really nice and warm. The buttons aren't annoying me too much with how strong they are, so I may just leave them, but I'm very happy with how this has turned out. So yeah, I'm really happy. I love the big bow at the top. The collar's sitting really nice. Yeah, I've had lots of compliments when wearing this as well, which is nice. I do kind of think the black maybe looks a little bit like a kind of graduation gown, but I think with the bow and stuff, when you see that, it obviously isn't. And it's just so nice and comfy and warm and perfect for winter. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I've been posting lots of things I've been making over there and lots of little videos when I get new fabric, and also I often post polls about what I'm sewing, like whether I should use certain buttons and stuff. So if you want to check that out, that will be linked below along with my brand where I sell sewing patterns. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. If you like this and you like this kind of video, then hit the subscribe button, comment down below if there's anything else you would like to see. And yeah, thank you for watching.